Hello, this is Socially Triggered, and this video is going to be a little different for me because I'm going to defend something that I don't actually, I don't know how to say this, but I don't necessarily believe fully. But it's something that needs to be defended in order to realize where I'm going with my life. Um, Let me explain. So, I'm going to defend religion and the desire for religion and the need for religion. And I'm not religious. I don't go to church. I don't actually participate in any religion myself. But I do believe there is a need for religion. And what I mean by that is if you look at human evolution, we have evolved with a sense of religion and a belief in something greater than ourselves. And it started maybe 100, 200,000 years ago, where as we developed some kind of awareness, we questioned what our surroundings, how the impacts were happening. Like, why is the sky blue? Why is all this stuff happening? We started questioning that as an intelligent creature. And the answers that we got were like we would come up with gods and different reasons. And that was, in some ways, a primitive science. Now, obviously, science has developed a lot since then, and our understandings have increased, and we really know the reasons for certain things. But there was that doesn't negate the fact that we evolved with this need for something greater than ourselves. And we need to have a sense of spirituality. And when we lack that sense of spirituality, and we've moved away from God, we've moved away from religion in our society, especially in the West, well, we now have this weird void where we feel like we lack purpose. And you see it a lot where people will shift to something else to fill that void. And what I've seen people shifting to is social justice, fighting for people and taking offense on other people's behalf. And you'll see people's arguments based on faith, even though they're talking about non-faith related issues. So instead of saying, well, there's only two genders based on science and reality, they'll say, well, I believe that there's many, many genders because we all can express ourselves different way. And this is kind of like this weird faith that people want to accommodate for other people and their different versions of reality. And in doing so, they are creating this faith. They're moving away from science in order to replace it with something because they feel like they're lacking purpose and meaning in their life. If we can replace it with something, we will, we've tried to find something that they can justify, why am I alive? Because if there's no afterlife, if there's no greater purpose, then what is the point? We're all going to die. Even if we have children, they're going to die. And our children's children, they're going to die. And what's the purpose? What's the meaning? And so we get back to some of these old religious questions. Well, and mankind has actually kind of thought about those really basic ideas, of giving us purpose. And just as we used the concepts of religion to try to understand the world, well, as we evolved, we incorporated those beliefs into our actual evolution. So we like, if you think about it with religion, it creates these ideas of morals. That if you hurt somebody else, if you do these kind of things, well, that is bad. And as a result of those beliefs, our society changed. It created laws, it created rules, and those rules got enforced. And people that didn't follow those rules, well, they were killed, generally. There was like very harsh punishments in the past for people that didn't follow the rules. So the religions impacted the actual people, because people that didn't follow those rules all of a sudden were eliminated. And when you're eliminated, no children, no carrying on your genetics. So all of a sudden, you have this evolutional effect where people depend on that religion for the way that they behave. And as a result, when you take that religion out of those people's lives, it's like removing air, because it's been so ingrained in their actual genetics, the way that they believe, the way that they live, the way that they think. And I know a lot of people nowadays, like, we sort of try to pretend that genetics don't play a role. But as a parent who has seen those craziness of how children behave, and seeing, wow, gee, I did the same thing as a kid. I never taught my kid this, but they just do it. It's a lot of our behavior, so much of our behavior is genetically based. So if we're removing spirituality from our lives by taking a very scientific approach, which is a good thing. I think science is a good thing. It's good to understand science. But if we do that, we are in some ways denying our own biology, our own needs for something greater than ourselves, our need for a deity of some kind. So there's a dilemma there. We have the rationality and the understanding that we've developed of science, but we have this primitive need that we also have that is very deeply ingrained in our personas. And the question is, how do you balance those two things? So this has been sort of my thoughts on it, and I want to defend religion and people that are returning to religion. And I recommend that actually people become religious as a way to better understand themselves. Know thyself is a very good moral way of thinking about the world. If you don't understand who you are and why you do the things you do, you'll end up doing bad things, and you'll end up doing things without really understanding the consequences of your own actions. So understanding religion will give you a better sense of yourself. Fortunately, in my case, I was brought up very, very religious. Actually, I worked in the church. I had that real sense of religion when I grew up. I read the Bible. I read actually multiple Bibles. I read the Quran. I read, different religious texts as a way to really broaden my understanding of religion itself and to see the value in it. And there are things within it that are actually useful. We don't have to accept the stories as being factually correct, but just understand the moral teachings of it and the way that it has influenced the people that we are today. And if you come at it at that way, I think you can really appreciate the value of religion and incorporate it into your life. And this is my white pill, the religious pill. Like there's the typical the blue pill, which is those people that just don't realize what's going on in the world. And then there's the red pill, which is people who are awake. Hey, there's some really stupid things going on with all this, social justice stuff. And then there's the black pill, where people get depressed about it and realize that everything's going to fall apart. But this is the white pill, and the white pill is really about understanding religion and how it is important in our lives. Even if we don't have to necessarily believe that there is a God, it's just good to have some kind of faith and some kind of understanding of something greater than ourselves. And this is a real lesson that I discovered through first being religious, then giving up religion. And I've always claimed, and I always told people this, I never claimed to be an atheist. I always said that I was a deist. And the reason I said this is I actually do believe in something greater than myself. I do believe that maybe that maybe I'll be dust when I die, but that there is some purpose to my life, and that there is some reason for my life, and that I want to have a positive influence not only on my own life but on the lives of others. And that's always been sort of my spiritual way of thinking, even though I haven't necessarily been the most spiritual of people. I'm not religious in any particular way, as I said. So this has been my sort of thinking about religion, and I really do encourage people to embrace religion in an analytical way. So it's sort of a mixture of the two, being religious, not just purely just believing in something, but seeing the moral value of it and seeing the values that you can get from it, and achieving that understanding of yourself. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little strange, I get it. It's a little bit of a rant, but I hope you enjoyed it. And please check out my other videos. They're all over the place in terms of what topics I talk about. I don't usually talk about religion, but I thought this was an important thing because I see the real problems in our society that are generated by people not being religious anymore. They've really given up religion, and they're trying to substitute other things for it, and it's really backfiring on our society. So I hope people enjoy this video and check out my other videos. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.